All right, welcome to the fourth and final game of the evening. Up this time, we review Islands and Trains. Craft tiny railway dioramas in this stress-free island sandbox. No rules or timers, just design, build, and enjoy. I mean, that's pretty short and to the point, but accurate. Right. So I'm not sure if I have to go over some of the history of train simulators because there is a surprisingly rich tapestry there.
I was about to say, I think
Um,
we've done this discussion before.
I don't think specifically for train simulators. You know, we've been talking about simulation games quite a bit because we've had a few of them on the pile. Um, but I hesitate to call this a simulation game because, like, at least in the traditional sense. Like when it comes to train simulators, there's kind of two flavor. Um, there's the railroad tycoon slash A train train simulators, and then there's the Microsoft Train Simulator slash Densha D Go games, i.e., you got the train simulators that simulate the business of a train simulator and the local economy,
Mm-hmm.
or the regional economy, something like that. And then there's the train simulators that simulate actually driving a train. This is neither. This is simulating model train sets to a point, because the other word in that title is islands and train. Yeah, so for whatever reason, yeah, you have to build islands before you build the trains. I'm honestly not sure what thought process made them arrive at this decision. It's a bit random. Now, maybe they didn't want it to be too easy to use your design tools at once or something, or something to do with land manipulation, but you can do that without having to start with water. It's just a bit unusual. But, you have to build the islands, set your elevations, lay down tracks, and yeah, that's about all there is to it. Um, at the base level, like, you're given a lot of options in terms of landscapes, building pieces, train tracks, um, but even more so when it comes to simulators, there's no goal here. Like, this is the most creativity toy of the simulators that we've covered in recent times. As in, like, you're not even performing a perfunctionatory goal. Like we saw in the recently reviewed Kitty Builder. Like, Kitty Builder was fairly loose with its building, but it still had a overarching goal there to focus on. This does not. Like, this is just, go build some land masses, go build some mountains, go build some bridges, go build, a grassland, a wintry biome if you want. Um, you know, whatever your imagination entails. You know, it's more Minecraft than SimCity, just without the monsters. Like, that being said, they have upped the hazard level in that a fairly recent update at time of recording has allowed for multiple trains. As you can have up to 10 going at once. And yeah, that's going to add a few layers to the building complexity to make sure all of the trains, should you have the tracks intersect and all that, they don't crash. And yeah, that's about all I got. I'll be honest, this is a bit hard to rate, because it delivers on what it promises, and it's also, I cannot think of a bigger case of WYSIWYG that we've covered on this show in recent times. Indeed, what you see is what you get, and no more. But on the other hand, I can't quite ignore the fact that islands and trains here, really, it's more of a sub mode of a game than an actual game. I mean, even going back to like the original Sim City, you had regular mode, you had scenario mode. Maybe I'm thinking of the Super Nintendo version, but there was a free build mode, as in, you weren't constrained by any sort of financial constraints. And this is that idea presented in one package instead of as the B mode in an actual train simulation game. And I really don't know how to rate that, because if I'm being honest, this seemed to be a well-made train simulator toy simulator, a model train simulator thing, but I have never held an interest in model trains, or even big trains, if I'm being honest. As I said, it's a bit scattershot because, it's a fine product that I have no interest in. And I think that's really what it comes down to here. If
Ogre
you're
would
interested
love
in building
something like this.
Who?
Ogre.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's really into trains. And also, I will note that this game is very, very cheap.
Mm-hmm.
It's only clocking in at $7, which, on train simulator scales.
Yeah, fuck. You could buy this for all of your train loving friends and they would have a blast.
Well, on like actual train simulators, actual modern
train
day
simulators are the kind of game that have a special $10 DLC to get a new special, very specific livery version of a certain very specific train form.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people who will absolutely buy that. Like,
yep. Or building, actual train systems in your house that probably cost as much, if not more, than your fucking house.
Yeah. Oh, God. Do not look up DLC for like a modern day train simulator.
We've discussed this before.
Yeah. I'm like, but it bears repeating given the thing we're reviewing right now.
I'm aware.
Like I said, if nothing else, this is not going to set your wallet back very much at all.
Right.
I would just recommend, going into this knowing if you want to build trains on an island, patchwork of islands, an archipelago, or if you're just going to, build the land mass and go from there.
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. Because, yeah, it excels at that. But, beyond that, yeah, like, once again, ultimately, you really should approach this as a simulation of building a model train set with a watery component, as opposed to actually simulating driving a train, managing a train, anything in that direction.
I just like making trains go
And
boom.
you can do that. You can make the trains collide.
Because if I
You
did
can
this to
pretend you're
somebody's
Gomez.
train set in real life, I would be strung up somewhere by the train tracks themselves.
Yes. But, like if you want to make the trains crash, you can make them crash. Like you can be Gomez Adams here.
If you want to make a fucking 20-mile round trip and just have them destroy themselves, c'est la vie.
Yeah. As I said, once again, one of the positives I'd say is the sky's the limit. Like you don't have to worry about money, economics, how much, anything like that. Like you can just build. So anyway, any other questions, comments, or concerns over islands and trains here?
Not that I can think of.
I think I'm good.
All right, then. So, yeah, that'll about do it for another installment of the Fragments of Silicon reviews. Coming up on the week ahead. Gonna be a light week this time around. As I am getting prepared for family reunion business. Also, because the guest this week had to cancel on Wednesday, and Friday's show got rescheduled because once again, reunion stuff encroached. So coming up on Wednesday, September 17th, we'll be reacting to the, at this point, fairly obscure and probably unfortunately forgotten Earthworm Jim television series. As we look at the first episode of that thing, Sidekicked.
I honestly forgot that existed.
I was aware that was the thing that existed, because that's where a surprising amount of the characterization for some of those characters came from.
Oh, good. More on that on Wednesday. We do have a new episode of MSP planned. And then we're pretty much off until a week and a half from Wednesday. So until then, I shall wish you good gaming.